Today, we're going to take a first look at the Samyang 24mm f2.8 FE lens for Sony full frame and crop cameras. Let's go! Well, here it is, the Samyang 24mm autofocus FE lens designed for full frame Sony cameras. You can see it here on the a7iii. It's got a metal lens hood. We'll talk about the lens hood. Maybe not the best lens hood. You can see it's not very deep. A little bit about the lens. It sells for $299. It's got 7 elements in 7 groups. It weighs in at a hefty 3.3 ounces. It's plastic build at 3.3 ounces. I guess that's kind of what you would expect. On a crop sensor, which you can use this on a crop sensor, it's the equivalent of about 36 millimeters, so roughly 35 millimeter. And the minimum focus distance is 9.5 inches. We'll actually see some close-up shots. I took this out to Duke Gardens with me, went through and took some pictures, took some video. So I'm going to jump right into this. I'm going to show you those pictures, show you that video, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about this Samyang 24mm f2.8 lens. All right, here are some pictures. You can see this is a 24mm lens, so you can see you get a kind of wide field of view. Zoom in here a little bit to let you see the detail. Looks pretty good. Another shot just to kind of give you an idea on what the textures look like and the colors. These are all straight out of camera. No processing done at all. Here's one to kind of show you the depth of field. This was shot at f2.8, so you can see the bokeh in front and behind. The plant I focused on, pretty good. This one looks like the contrast is reduced. I shot this into the sun and it doesn't really seem to do a good job with that lens hood, so maybe a deeper lens hood will help with that, but definitely reduced contrast. Here's another example of that reduced contrast. You can see it pretty well in this example, so see if you can find a deeper lens hood would be my recommendation. And here's one of the Japanese bridge. Beautiful place, Duke Gardens, if you're in the Durham area. I would say if you have some time, definitely worth checking it out. It's free, they just charge for parking. Another shot of the Japanese bridge. You can see the colors, the clarity, everything looks pretty good. This is an example of a close-up shot, not really macro lens, but at 9.5 inches you can get pretty close, and I think it does a pretty good job with close-ups. Just a little waterfall shot here, not taken at the best time of day, but you get an idea of the contrast here. Some flowers. It's again beautiful this time of year with all the flowers blooming. You can see the color and contrast there as well. And then some daffodils, I believe. Another kind of example of close-up. So those were the pictures. Let's take a look at the video. So there's no image stabilization in the lens, but there is in-body stabilization with the a7iii. So this gives you an idea on what you can do with just the in-body stabilization for video with this lens. Just another example of a slow pan. These are all handheld, so nothing's on a tripod, just holding it with my hands. And I don't necessarily have the most steady of hands, but this gives you, again, an idea on what you can do with just the in-body stabilization and a slow pan with this lens. Shot in pretty bright sunlight. Quick vlog test here. This is a quick vlog test. Steady shot is on. Samyang 24mm f2.8. It's set to f8 right now. We're walking slowly. Steady shot is on. Got the Deity V-Mic Pro 3 on. Let's see how this does for vlogging. Here's an example of where it loses focus. If you can see here, you start with focus and then the focus just drifts. I do change the aperture here in this one, but it seems odd that it would lose focus when you change the aperture. And I've got another example coming up where I'm not changing the aperture, but the focus just gets lost. So I'm not sure. There it is. You can see it really lost focus there. Not sure what's going on. I had the same autofocus settings that I had on all these other videos in this one, so really not sure what happened there. And here's another example. You can see at the top, the focus is good, and then it just goes out of focus as I pan. Again, not sure exactly what's going on, but the focus is really bad there. And I didn't change the aperture here. So this focus drift seems to be an issue. And here's just a shot with me walking again, handheld, no tripod, just holding it in my hands, walking up the stairs to give you an idea on what the stabilization will look like. Again, no stabilization in the lens. Well, those were the pictures, those were the videos. Let's wrap this up and talk a little bit more about this lens. There is your first look. What do I think of the lens? Well, there's some reduced contrast at times, it seems. Maybe a deeper lens hood would fix that. Also in video, like you saw, it loses focus oddly. And one time I was changing the aperture, the other time I was not. Focus just seemed to drift. So I'll have to do more testing on that. That could be user error, but I'll have to do more testing on that. I think for $299, probably a pretty good value. I am going to do a full review after I've been able to use this for a while. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you haven't already. Click on that bell icon and you'll get notified whenever we release a new video. Get out there and have your photo gear fun. Hope you enjoyed this first look. I will talk at you again in the next video.